2 years ago, Audi launched the bold little A1 Quattro. We loved it, but sadly there was only a limited production run of just 333 cars. However, that paved the way for this, the new and almost identical Audi S1. We flew up towards the Arctic Circle where the launch was being held, and in a fairly short space of time we drove it on a wide variety of different roads and surfaces, starting off with something that looked remarkably like a special stage of Rally Sweden. You might ask what we can actually learn from the Swedish version of the B road, but the answer is actually quite a lot, because for a start, the ride of this in efficiency mode is remarkably good. They've replaced the rear torsion beam with a multi-link setup because it's a Quattro now, and yeah, S models of old would have been absolutely shaking me to bits down this bit of road, but not this. What else can we learn? Well, although it might be very slow speed, you just have to concentrate. It looks so far ahead down the road. It feels like we're going so slowly, but honestly, the grip, you have to be so gentle with the braking and stuff. The balance of the car, so it's 60-40 front rear with a Haldex most of the time on the Quattro, but you can then shuffle that obviously further rearwards, and certainly in the slippery conditions you get on the power and you feel it shift rearwards. Nice short wheelbase, and you can actually ignore quite long drifts on this road, which is well, obviously appeals to me. The one trouble obviously with these roads is the fact that you can't really tell an awful lot about the steering, because well, it's snowy, we're on winter tyres, so the feedback that you might be getting is all sort of muted, as it were. Audi seems pretty pleased with their setup for this electric power assisted steering system, so it'll be interesting to see what it's like when we get it back in the UK. It certainly feels pretty good from what I can feel, and it weights up nicely when you put it into dynamic mode. The other thing that's obviously great about the S1 is the fact that it is so small, and this road is very narrow, and I wouldn't want to pilot anything much bigger down here, but the S1 you actually feel like you've got room to play and room to enjoy it, which is good. It's obviously lovely that we've got a manual gear shift in the S1. It said in the press pack that it was a short shift, which I have to say, don't be fooled by that. It doesn't feel particularly short in the shift, but it is, like I say, lovely having 3 pedals. The little S1 has the almost ubiquitous 2-litre TFSI engine under its bonnet, putting out a formidable 228 brake horsepower and 237 pounds-foot of torque. Of course, to test that kind of oomph to its full potential, we needed somewhere with a little more grip. So we've come back to what is essentially an airfield where this launch is based, and it is at least not a snowy airfield, so we have some vaguely sort of dry tarmac, and we're just going to do a couple of laps of the sort of course they've set out here, because it's it'll be quite interesting. So we've got the car in its Drive Select dynamic mode, we've got the ESC as far off as it will go, and yeah, we're going to see what it does. I doubt it's going to be quite as fun as it was on the snowy road, but it should be considerably quicker. So we're going to go into this long right hander, which sort of goes into a bridge. It's got real punch in dynamic mode. It really just got it in the heart of the revs, and hear it just flaring up over the top there. You can still come into the corners, get on the power, and you can feel it shuffle backwards through that Haldex 5. And it's a nice little back straight, brake hard, long right hander here. And again, you've got to be patient, it's an Audi, it's going to understeer a bit, but you go on the power and you just feel it sort of neutralise itself, cover the apex there a bit of snow. On a dry bit of road, I think this actually be really quite fun. It is, yeah, it's still going to understeer, but you can feel the balance adjusting with this short wheelbase, and we've got to go back through all the cars here, so that's why I'm sort of slowing down. Yeah, it's good fun actually. It is properly quick, and it's got real traction. I mean, what you'd have to do to get yourself into trouble in this, I dread to think. Famous last words. Tantalisingly, there was an original Group B S1 Quattro, that's a Quattro with a capital Q, on the launch, but sadly only someone called Blomqvist was allowed to drive it. One day, perhaps. Nonetheless, we thought it was still a good excuse for a brief interlude with a few period shots of S1s with Stig, Walter, Michelle and Hanno at the wheel. Lovely.
un'auto bellissima. Sì, mi dovrei silenzio quattrini.
So we're on the way back to the airport now. It's been a fairly rushed job, to say the least. Sam's been running around like a mad thing in the snow, and I've still got my coats on as well. What do I think of the S1? Well, when we turned up at the airport yesterday and I saw it first, I so wanted this car to be good. It looks amazing, and that hasn't changed over the last sort of 24 hours or so. We've got the Quattro pack, styling pack on the exterior, which I think looks great. In fact, all the sport back version, so it's a 5-door version, which isn't actually any bigger exterior wise, which is slightly strange. It's sort of a trick of the eye, but I think they don't look as good with the black roof rest. I just think a Citroen Pluriel is terrible. I know I shouldn't, but they do. Although having said that, they had a Viper green one there. They seem to nick quite a few colours, because this looks like speed yellow, so they both look like Porsche colours. In here as well, we've got the optional Quattro pack on the interior, and again, that's really, really cool. It's obviously going to add to the already fairly hefty price of this car, but I think it's absolutely worth it. If you're going to buy this sort of premium hatch, then you want it to look as good as possible, and those two packs certainly make it look absolutely brilliant. The exterior one also adds nice little sort of red touches in the lights, and in here, the best thing is these seats, which kind of remind me of the 968 Club Sport, with the whole sort of bit going on back here with the shiny colour-matched backs to the seats. The S1 certainly sounds a lot better with the dynamic mode. I have to say, I keep thinking, I don't know why, I know it's a 4-cylinder, but I keep expecting to hear some sort of 5-cylinder burble like a proper original S1. But despite my disappointment, for a 4-cylinder, it does sound good. So what do we think of the S1 then? Well, obviously we want to try it on British roads, dry preferably, and without winter tyres on. But I have to say, it's a prospect that I'm thoroughly looking forward to, because apart from anything else, the ride is nice and supple, and that bodes very well for a car working well in the UK. Despite its hefty price tag, I suspect it will sell by the bucket load, because there's just something very cool about a small, quick car, and the S1 certainly fits that bill. Plus, if you've got a hankering for a mini-sized car with 4-wheel drive, then the S1 is literally in a class of its own. We're going to be back in Sweden in a few weeks' time to drive another rather iconic 4-wheel drive car. So, if you don't want to miss out, remember to subscribe.